Hello there, and welcome. This is the 5th episode of Reddit War Room, and today we've got a first Wehrmacht player. Arny, in the south of Longres, as you'll see on the screen now, is going to be up against, obviously, a American player, so vanilla factions, very exciting stuff. And another exciting thing is I have a very interesting co-cast today, Imperial Dane. Hello.
Hello, everybody.
And hello to you, Imperial Dane. How are you today?
I'm quite good. How about you?
I'm not bad at all. You've done this YouTube thing before, haven't you?
I may have a few episodes here and there.
Yeah, just, try it now and again just to see what it feels like. I get you, yeah, that's interesting. Do you know much about Company of Heroes? Have you played it much at all?
Just for a few years, 3 or 4, a few thousand games, nothing special.
A few thousand episodes soon to be, surely as well. What episode are you up to in Propaganda Cast now?
I think episode 711 went up today.
Oh wow. At my rate of 2 episodes a week roughly, I'll surely be there by 2020.
Probably.
Company of Heroes 5, Vietnam or what have you.
Probably.
So we've got Arny in the south. So would you prefer to follow the Wehrmacht player by any chance?
Yeah, I'll stick to him.
Excellent. I'll tail the American in the north, this swindly American Yankees. Okay, so we're at 5 seconds, aren't we, then?
Yeah.
Let's... hang on. So in 3, 2, 1, let's play.
There.
7, 8, 9, and 10.
More or less.
More or less. I'm sure it won't come to much. So, the levels of these players, it's going to be around 14. To give you a little bit of context on Arny, he's a friend of mine. He did reach 16 at a point, but he seemed to have been pushed back. He kind of lost a bit of his confidence, and he can't quite seem to get back to 16. So hopefully we can see a few things that might help him get there again.
Fair enough. Let's see if we can't give him a few friendly hints, or a jackboot to the rear.
Indeed, because you seem to be quite comfortable at level 16 Wehrmacht, don't you?
Yeah, I am quite around there.
So you just so have you ever faced Arny in combat by any chance in auto match?
I don't think so. He doesn't really ring a bell, though I might have. I can't.
Yeah. What do you expect to see on Longres for the Wehrmacht?
It depends. I mean, a lot of players tend to go for different strategies. Some go for the more aggressive, but I mean, the sort of usual thing you see a lot of lately is the true full-scale sniper MG sort of build, which is rather, focused towards doing a lot of damage. Are you
personally a fan of that? Is that to your tastes?
No, I prefer a more heavily aggressive one with more infantry. I like, infantry, preferably one with 3 full-scale. I then throw in a Schwimmer and an MG, and then I go to town.
Oh, you go to town, do you? Excellent. I've just had a brilliant idea. Why don't we give the each army a name, like a historical name? I don't know if that's ever been done before, but it'd be quite interesting for the viewers.
Yes, it's certainly nothing I do, ever. But, I mean, we'll probably call the Americans the, I don't know, 5th Infantry Division, and the German player can be the, the 272nd Infantry Division.
I trust that is extremely historical accurate, because you're definitely expert in that matter.
Yeah, I mean, at least on they had about, 300 to 400 regular divisions, so yeah, no problems there.
Oh, wow. So we've got some good pressure from the Americans trying to push them off the right. Nothing...
Yeah, also a bit on the flank. The Wehrmacht's infantry is sort of more bogged up, taking points, the high munitions, in fact.
Anything interesting from the build yet? Has it been confirmed? Is he going for an MG third, perhaps, or...?
No MGs as of yet. He might get the resources now, but so far nothing. And he's standing about with his full guns behind a wooden cart, not moving them.
Oh no, that's not very good, is it?
You need to be active, you need to get moving, and now his other full squad is going to get swarmed by riflemen. And there we go, 2 squads pushing in.
So perhaps a little bit too conservative there, being scared of a possible threat.
And usually you want to keep your full gunners supporting each other so they can provide some fire and overpower squads. And that's sort of what we're seeing now happen.
Overlapping arcs of fire, indeed. He's got some engineers there, a nice squishy target. You'd be expecting him to focus then, perhaps?
Yeah, I think he's going to get the riflemen first because they're a bit closer. He's also reinforcing the full grenadiers, and now we're seeing a sniper on the way.
Oh wow, that should hopefully push the Americans off from the...
Yeah, but you rarely see the MG, the sniper third. Usually you see the MG first before the sniper.
Ah, yes, definitely. It's just like, it is an argument that top-level Wehrmacht players, the sniper first, the MG first. I'm sure it's probably situational, though.
Yeah, but it rather depends. It sort of allows him more pressure and then sort of allows some breathing room for the sniper to get out on.
Indeed, yeah. The sniper needs a barrier, doesn't he? He can't just...
Yeah, and this strategy already has sort of the weakness that it's rather easy to sort of flank and, well, kill the sniper, for example, if he's not careful.
What do you think of the barbed wire in the north? The northwest?
A bit excessive. I mean, he would just need to close up a few gaps in the fence for starters.
Yeah, exactly. The fence is already there, and that's just as, he could perhaps micro that a little bit better, done 2 short strips of barbed wire, and it would have taken him a lot less time. Maybe being able to finish it off. As it is, it's completely impotent.
And just going to get cut anyways. A mine would have worked better on the field point.
Yeah, perhaps. Indeed. Because that's not a flank you expect the Wehrmacht to try and stop the Americans making. So a mine would easily suffice over there.
Well, a mine's also just harder to deal with, and we're already seeing grenades from the American player.
So three rifles, grenades straight away. So a Korean army, very aggressive sort of build.
Very aggressive, very heads-on. And if he's not careful with Arny, that is, he could actually end up losing a lot of troops. But we do see the MG out in the field now.
Surely a med bunker would be a good answer to grenades quite early, because obviously the bodies from fragmentation is quite retrievable, aren't they?
Maybe. I'm not entirely convinced he has enough infantry to really make it pay off, though, with 2 squads and an MG and bits. It can take a bit of a while to sort of really work off, and question if he doesn't should be taking up quickly and get some grenadiers or a half-track.
Indeed, yeah. He's going to have to start making this plus 16 munitions work for him, and I think he is. He's actually slaying his first mines there by the strong house near the middle VP.
That's good, that's good. Usually though you actually see some wire around that house to sort of protect the high munitions point. I mean, that's usually where I get the wire, not by the fuel point towards the west.
Do you think it'll be a little bit obvious, perhaps for a higher level American player, if you don't barbed wire that corner?
Depends. I mean, usually you do see wire or something else, not a mine there. But he's really mining off the west side. We also see a mine from be careful around that strategic point.
Oh, wow, interesting.
And Pioneers run straight into it.
And the American has done the thing you're expected to do in the current patch. He's gone for the WSC. He's obviously going to get the sniper out as soon as possible. Doesn't want to bleed any manpower.
Yep, and we're seeing that Arny is actually floating manpower.
Ooh. He was, yes, but what did he just acquire something, perhaps? I've got 100 on my screen.
At me, he's got 500 manpower. Wait, there we go. He's actually getting another MG now, going for a heavy tier 1.
Sorry, I confused myself. I did change player, didn't I, at the start? Yeah, we've got the Americans keeping it tight. He's got around 100 manpower. He's not floating much at all. He seems to have quite an efficient economy going for himself.
And we're seeing a flank going in against the position. Pioneer's in trouble. Sniper doing his best to keep the rear clear, while Rifleman Squad occupies the rest of the force.
Bit of rear entry from the American there.
Grenade goes off, actually killing a few Volkskriegs, but he did get a Rifleman Squad. That's actually quite nice.
Definitely, yeah. So the Americans are a bit of a loss at the moment. MG could go down though, maybe if he gets focused by these southern rifles.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, be careful, he's actually not pushing up. He actually got the Pioneer Squad in the house, and now he pulls away, and Arny has yet to actually shift the MG42.
No, yeah, not bad reactions there you'd expect for a southern switch. Perhaps he's expecting more rifles to come out of the woodwork. We can't.
Yeah.
Obviously, without fog of war enabled currently in this cast, so we can't see what he can see.
Oh, Volkskrieger Squad down, just went down to a grenade.
Yeah, that was a little bit not very nice to see. Perhaps the med bunker would be a good answer now. I can see quite a few bodies writhing around.
Yeah, in that case, the medic bunker could certainly be a good move, but then I'd usually also throw in another Volkskrieger Squad to sort of get the best out of it.
Rifle down on retreat from the MG.
2 squads of riflemen actually down for hey, be careful. I mean, for someone with that name, he's not being very careful.
Yeah, it's more of a killing match, this. It's not much of a game of chess, is it? It's, who can kill the opponent more?
It's certainly brutal for the moment. Now, of course, the question is, can Arny capitalize on it? And we do see additional Pioneers on the way, and he's got the skirmish phase up.
Skirmish phase up. We've got triage in the American base, so nice healthy squads leaving to combat. That's good to see.
Kriegberg's going up as well. Sniper.
Oh, double mines near the cutoff. Oh, the other mine hasn't been activated yet.
And Sniper gets off shot down to one man, and he's only held together by faith in the fatherland.
He's going to try and recap that, and I'm sure he's going to take more manpower loss. The other mine didn't quite go off.
Yeah, and we're seeing the MG42 actually being used to take points.
Snipers getting a little bit too close to each other at the moment.
Yeah, and there's actually a bike on the way from Arny to try and uncover the sniper and put a bullet between his eyes.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a excellent combo. I wish we saw that more in play. I'd rather see one sniper and a jeep play rather than two jeep snipers, if that makes any sense.
Well, it does. It does.
I like combined arms.
Oh, Arnie's actually being very... Oh, mine goes off as the MG tries to set off. But he's being very... What's the word? Uncareful with his sniper, I think. Well, the closest to it anyways. And looks like the MG's going to get cleared out. And he keeps firing despite there being a sniper right around. Bike, though, arrives. MG decrewed.
Yeah, a little bit sloppy there from Arny. He's lost the MGs. Maybe the bike should chase this rifle man down, the last surviving man from the MG team.
Could work off, could work off.
Yeah, he's going to go for it. He's going to go for it.
MG doing out a bit there in the west. More barbed wire to protect that western fuel point. Another
sniper! Oh, come on, bike! Drive it, Klaus! You got men to kill.
There we go. And looks like everybody's back home safely. Except the ones that died. MG shifting out to try and deal with the Germans penetrating on the right flank, doing a bit of harassment and going to suppress them. And we're seeing a half-track out now for Arny on the way at least.
Ah, excellent. So a lot of suppression in the future for the Americans. That's good to see. What do you feel about Arny's territory at the moment? He seems to have quite a sizable chunk. That's good for Wehrmacht.
Actually, he's got some, but I mean, clearly the American is dominating in terms of territory. But I mean, it's not something he has to worry about as much as defending, though, because it's, well, much more limited. There's a lot of hedgerows blocking off a lot of it.
Indeed, yes, yeah. Obviously, he's got that alone.
And grenade on the Volkswagen squad, almost down. And the half-track's being rushed in with no one in it.
Oh, Pyo's down. This is not good. This could be...
Yeah, could be bad. He was trying to man the guns and failed.
Oh, God. Do you reckon he got a slight decrease in, you know, received accuracy when he was trying to get in there?
Actually, not sure, but I mean, there were 6 riflemen shooting at one pioneer with low health. I mean...
So yeah, the odds were never in his favour. Got some nice harassment on the left here. The engineer's looking to shoot the barbed wire for some reason.
Yeah, probably because it isn't finished. Half-track getting sticky bomb, meaning it's going to be quite useless.
Useless indeed.
Immobilized.
Entirely immobilized, yes.
Sniper, though, actually racking up quite a few kills. 20. And Grenadiers on the way for Arny. And that half-track is a complete write-off.
Write-off indeed. He probably needs to get the insurance documents out for that thing. How many sniper kills does the American have? It's a second sniper he's just built. The first sniper has 4. So he's really starting to fear Arny's lone sniper ace at this point.
Yes, but I imagine he's also just trying to put on some pressure on Arny's infantry since, well, he has smaller squads and thus 2 snipers can do a lot more to the Germans than vice versa.
Indeed, so is this your worst nightmare now with the sniper metagame coming to fruition?
I certainly can't say it's a sort of game that I enjoy. And hey, be careful, he's beginning to complain about his sniper missing too much.
Or a sniper, as he's written it.
Yeah, well, he's trying to write sniper.
Yeah, snipers, because of the 50% chance for a moving sniper to be hit by the counter snipe, it becomes a lot of a game of luck. It increases the luck modifiers quite heavily.
Yeah, and he actually trained another Volksgrenadier squad instead of training some Grenadiers.
Very good for recreating these MGs he keeps leaving around.
Yes, but as a rule of thumb, you always train Grenadiers if you can, not Volksgrenadiers.
Yeah, true.
I mean, they only cost 200 manpower more and you do get a lot more fighting power out of them.
And this bike, he has got 2 kills to his name, but he's missed 2 massive opportunities to polish off the snipers on retreat.
He feels a bit timid, Arny. He's, not really pushing in fully.
Yeah, so would you say it's a case of missed opportunities? He's not seizing the moment?
Well, with snipers, of course, on the retreat it can be a bit difficult, in particular with the bike, which is a bit wobbly, I think. At times, I don't actually use the bike myself. I prefer the Schwimmwagen.
Okay then, Dane. As you're somebody that does not like playing against snipers, if you see snipers on the field, how do you tend to combat them yourself?
Oh, I get armor, I get vehicles, so I try to sort of minimize the effect of it.
Ah, okay. Yeah, you can't snipe a heavily armoured car, I suppose.
Nope. And then I might eventually get a sniper sometimes, just, to throw a bit of fun into my opponent, because, again, I am known for not using them, and in that case, using a sniper once in a while can have an advantage.
Ah, I see, yes, the bluff.
But I prefer not using them because, they take too much management, considering, the whole effect, and rather draws away from other troops.
Yeah, it does, it really does. Anything that decreases your ability to micromanage the important assets of your army is pretty valuable for the enemy.
Yeah. Bit of a desperate finding here in the centre of the bike, the sniper holding up everything, and so far a second sniper actually out for Arny. Sticky bomb on the bike!
Oh, I thought he might just get enough health. The pyros are working their hardest to weld it together as it was sticky.
And Pioneer gets sniped.
Oh! This is getting a little bit treacherous for either sniper. They seem to be waiting for the other sniper to fire and then using the cooldown to pick off an enemy.
Yeah, but so far Arny's has 28 kills. He's quite enjoying himself, I imagine.
And he seems to have trained a comrade to help him out.
Oh, the MG went down on the retreat.
Yeah, it disappeared into the ether because they picked it up, of course.
Another bike coming out for Arny.
Hey, be careful, does not be able to understand the multi-dimensional properties of an MG when you pick it up.
I think it's just he's having trouble hitting the opponent's snipers. It's rather bugging him a lot.
You shouldn't let that get you down, though, because surely luck should turn in your favour at some point in the game. Hopefully we see that for paper. We want to see a good game at the end of the day.
Indeed, indeed. A lot of infantry, Kampfkraft Center now coming up for Arny.
Ah, that should be good to see. What veterancy do you think you should focus on first?
Probably infantry, to get some veterancy too, for example, for the Grenadiers.
Yeah, definitely. And as he is tending to win the sniper metagame, veterancy 2 shouldn't be something that you should, neglect.
Not as such. Of course, American snipers do benefit with Grenadiers veterancy 2, as they don't pretty much have an insta-kill chance, even on retreat. And as one of the counters basically to veterancy 2 Grenadier spam is to get snipers.
Oh, wow, okay. So at this point, would you be thinking Pumas if you were Army? As you as a player, of course.
If I was the American player, I'm not entirely sure what I'd think, but I'd always worry about some armor. I always have sort of some fear of armor appearing out of nowhere, so I usually try to get an anti-tank and at the very least to sort of counter it. But so far, neither side actually has any anti-tank weapons, except
Really?
sticky bombs for the Americans.
Obviously, Arny did do a little bit of reconnaissance in the north when he tried to chase those snipers down the first and second time, so he must have a good idea about if there's a motor pool up or what have you.
Indeed. And we actually see support veterans run for this now on the way as well.
Oh wow, okay, so he's gone double the healing bonuses of the first veterancy rank. It would be good for Arny to see a pack, though. You can never be too careful with packs.
Yeah, but also the Americans should probably worry about an anti-tank, and generally as Wehrmacht are sort of trying to get a decent tier 2 up with some Grenadiers, a pack, perhaps a half-tank with a mortar, and then it goes straight for the 3rd or 4th tier and get something a bit bigger out.
Yeah, size matters, as they say, definitely.
Well, that and basically something with guns and machine guns attached to it.
It seems to be, Hey Be Careful's going to concentrate on a 4-letter acronym here. He's going to go for a gamble. He's waiting for 800 manpower.
Oh dear, that's actually quite a bit of resources floating, and Arny's also doing it as well. If they're level 14, they're both floating an awful lot of resources, which is rather something you would expect more of a novice level.
So definitely, so you'd expect him to be a lot tighter with his economy to really
Yes, I mean, either towards, veterans who are just, tacking up, getting some armored cars, Stooks, or, Panzer IVs, whatever.
Here's somebody I've spoken to quite a lot in the past, and when I've screamed at him on his stream, as many people scream at people on their engineers on retreat there, sniped. I've always shouted at him, people have shouted at him, don't float manpower, and his answer has usually been, I can't, there's nothing I need to build, my army's fine, I've got everything I need. Do you think that's a good enough answer or not?
It's not. Because it basically means, I mean, if his opponent is spending resources and spends more resources than him, he will have the total resource advantage on the field. And then when you sort of, now I need to spend the resources, you'll constantly, be on the back foot comparison. You'll always be, backwards. Plus, I mean, you can always spend it on something, even if you think your army's fine. There's, for example, in this case, veterancy. Taking up, there's always some advantage to be gained, and you should always try to push your advantage if possible.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And he's so far not really doing it. In fact, now all of a sudden we're seeing, I think, 2 Grenadier squads out for him, and we're seeing a Greyhound pushing out. And we actually went straight for an off-map combat group.
Yeah, he did. I caught it on camera.
And a Greyhound straight between my... Blimey!
It's a nuclear Greyhound! An advanced prototype straight from Area 51 there.
The Volkswagen is just panzerfahren. Look at me, Heinz! And then Greyhound mine went off. I mean, usually, I do it myself to sort of see if I can't detonate the mine itself because you can do it, but not at that proximity.
And the Greyhound seems to be taunting him. It's still alive, firing and trying to prepare.
Yeah, usually kills them. But now, I mean, Arny is in a lot of trouble. He's down 2 squads of infantry. His center's completely collapsed.
Yeah, and the Americans' advanced capping speed's going to quickly swallow all of it up.
And grenades going off, the Grenadiers causing them vast casualties.
Vast casualties indeed. So in the ebb and flow of the tides of battle, we've seen the Americans make a bit of a resurgence here. Nice to see.
Yeah, that Greyhound mine pretty much shattered Arny's centre.
And hey, be careful, a little bit petulant there, saying Arny's lucky. He just lost 2 squads in a row, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, some players can get a bit, passive-aggressive like that.
Yeah, I definitely know where they're coming from, because I engage in quite a lot of it myself.
I mean, there's nothing wrong in complaining about to yourself. When you begin to complain about to your opponent, you are getting a bit rude. Plus, it also usually means you're not really willing to own up to your own mistakes.
I'm sure that everybody's been there at one time or another. For example, only yesterday I was playing against a Smurf on Bow Lowlands, and I built an MG placement in the corner of the map, and then went AFK.
Ah.
and hoped his computer would break or something. Pretty nasty strategies. People.
Lots of Panzerix going up, and we're seeing Terror Doctrine up for Arny now.
Ah, excellent. Yes, that's a good answer to the infantry doctrine. I like to think.
Well, it's just a doctrine choice I see used a lot. I mean, basically any doctrine can go. I mean, it used to be it was defensive doctrine that was, the primary Wehrmacht doctrine, but now it looks to be just terror.
You do see trends in the game, of course, don't you? Obviously, with Zeal being, some people have really focused on the Zeal for, 1 CP for all that power it gives you.
Well, it basically just makes your troops tough and basically give you a better chance of overall surviving in the longer run. But, I mean, it's usually because they can then get the King Tiger. They always go straight for the King Tiger.
Ah, the Königstiger, yes. Or Royal Tiger, as the British called it. Can you give us, what info do you have on that? I'm sure you've talked about it many times before.
Well, it was the other of the 2 King Tiger Tiger variants. There was sort of basically 2 turret variants as well. There was the earlier one, also known as the Porsche turret, a much more rounded turret. Trouble was, it was a bit too rounded and had a chance of actually deflecting the rounds into the tank itself.
Yeah, it was what's known as a shot trap, wasn't it? Because the armour around where the turret, the cannon came out, it was a little bit flat, wasn't it?
It was. Then they later fixed that with the other turret, which had a much more flat sort of mantle on the front. Hellcat rushing into the base on a bit of a tour there, having taken some damage.
Just going for a sightseeing tour, just seeing what's there, having a little bit of a,
And a huge wave of infantry just charges in from Hey, be careful, 30 caliber setting up here and there.
Propaganda war used. Do you think that was entirely necessary? Perhaps he feared for the pack, maybe?
Oh, he was worried about his snipers. The riflemen were awfully close to getting them.
Ah, yes, decloaking them for the opponent's
Oh,
sniper.
and one got counter-sniped.
Oof. It was
But
bound to happen eventually.
not the veteran one. Not the one with 45 kills.
45 kills. He's a mass murderer, that man.
A true German hero. But the pack is in a bit of trouble, so the Grenadiers in the centre, although they're actually causing a lot of damage to Heavy Cavalry's infantry, which is still going on despite being low on men.
And a one-man rifle squad unleashing a final grenade there. A little bit, wasn't very careful, was it?
And dead. And again, he's not very careful for his name. Grenadiers need to get out of there, and the pack... There we go, main gun destroyed, Grenadier retreats, pack decrewed.
That Hellcat is going to be one very lucky Hellcat. Yep, road bonus, it's getting away.
And another sniper on the way for Arny. This seems to be a very sniper-oriented war.
It does indeed, yeah. Oh no! Shreks have just sniped the vet! 3 American snipers!
Well, that's what you get when you stand about with your sniper with no protection. Then it can happen.
So, on the topic of distasteful sniper wars, because you're well known for your distaste of snipers, let's not beat around the bush. What do you want to see in Company of Heroes 2? What would you prefer to see?
Snipers not being able to walk around in the bloody open invisible. And that I'm getting. I mean, that's one of their main problems. I mean, they basically sort of such over the entire tactical principle when you can walk around and not be seen in the middle of an open field.
My mate just had a bit of an incursion there, wasn't exactly successful.
And rather makes them, you know, great at attacking and, you know, just spying around. I mean, with no ability to walk around in the open, only cover, I mean, they'll be much more limited and much more sensible and perhaps also, you know, a bit more tactically used.
Yeah, I'm gonna choose this moment to tell you my war story from Company of Heroes 2 Alpha.
NDA.
I don't care about NDAs. There's a different... I signed my agreement with THQ, not Sega.
Yes, but you might not get into the beta then if they find out.
Yes, but within the realm of respect, I'm sure I'm fine to say what I'm about to say. I hid a sniper behind a tree. That's the gist of it. It was a Vet Zero sniper, so it didn't have the cloaking ability. And it hid behind a tree, and I microed it, and the enemy missed it. It just walked past them. And at that moment, I thought True Sights is a truly amazing invention.
Oh, it's really great, although I haven't had much time to check it out. We do see a King Tiger readied in reserves. And a bit of, well, attack moving about with a mortar and a rifle. In fact, his off-map combat group because the mortar had to pull back.
The Rangers are firing up. They look to be doing some damage.
Yeah, probably going to go in for a grenade. And there we go, right by the fence.
These
Grenadier down.
Yeah, these grenades don't seem to be as powerful as they could be.
Yeah, and he doesn't actually seem to be using cover very much. He seems to be a bit of a fond of the human wave attack principle.
Perhaps then mines would have been a better utilization of munitions rather than propaganda wars then.
Probably, or basically just an MG42 for the Grenadiers. I mean, any unit charging across out in the open is going to get cut down. And he also seems to think Hellcats are tanks.
What was their proper designation?
Tank destroyer.
Ah, okay, yes. So
I mean, basically, some people just seem to think, oh, it's got a gun, the gun moves about, tank.
Isn't it
onwards,
more of an
Jeffrey.
issue of crew size, if I'm not mistaken?
It's not as much as crew size and more sort of, well, basically what the gun was meant for and what sort of ammunition it had. Plus, of course, MGs. I mean, for example, the Hellcat was definitely not meant for dealing with infantry because it had very thin armor, it had an open top. I mean, in theory, any chap could just have lobbed in a grenade. That was the end of it.
It was an anti-tank gun fitted on a hull, if I'm not mistaken, with armor built around it in principle.
In principle, although it was on a turret, I mean, the more anti-tank gunish part was actually more of the earlier ones. In fact, one of the early American tank destroyers was a half-track with an anti-tank gun on the back.
You linked a very interesting website on Twitter today, did you not? It was a Germans with their captured weaponry, wasn't it?
Yup. Beutepanzer, which basically means looted or booty panzer, basically, just what they've taken from the enemy.
Oh, excellent. I'll link that in the description of this YouTube video, along with obviously the propaganda cast, which I'm sure everybody in the Company Heroes community's seen your cast, but you never know, there might be one or two people.
Of course, of course. I mean, it's a great site that really shows a lot of stuff, including captured American equipment. And they actually had a...
I was about to say, that's what I love about it. I love the little links you get when they make the best of what they have. For example, the Hellcats being an improvised kind of tank. Not tank, sorry. Tank destroyer. But yeah, I love that kind of thing. Making the best
of the Hellcat was actually not improvised in any measure. It was actually very specifically designed after asking American tank crews, or tank destroyer crews.
Oh, right. I take that back immediately then. It was known for its speed, though, was it not?
Yeah, and also for being very thinly armoured.
One thing that's not known for its speed is the thing that's just slowly cumbered upon the battlefield.
Yup, the Königstiger, Tiger 2. Very heavily armoured, had a very big gun, high velocity. The same gun as the Jagdpanther, the Elephant, and some sort of anti-tank gun, the Pak-43.
BM off, isn't it? What millimetre was this gun? It's quite large, isn't it?
88.
88, so the Flak 88, that's basically, is it the same thing, is it?
And the regular Tiger, yes, same caliber, but again, the sort of thing that made the difference was the velocity. And a lot of people actually forget about velocity when they talk about tanks. Even historians, they'll say the Panther and the Panzer IV had the same gun and not even blinked.
Yeah, because obviously muzzle velocity, caliber,
Yeah, and again, the Panther had better penetrating ability because it had a higher velocity gun than the Panzer IV.
Yeah, the Panzer IV is something that changed remarkably throughout World War II, isn't it, with its gun velocity?
It did, and also in other many ways. And for example, the last variant, in fact, had a larger fuel tank, which it actually didn't need because there wasn't enough fuel, and lost its ability to sort of, it had to be hand-cranked the turret, where before it actually had a generator doing it.
Oh, wow. Another off-map combat group for the American, an AT gun sorely needed and acquired, so that'll be good for him.
More mortars, more MGs, more riflemen. I mean, he's sort of the guy that, lives by the off-map combat group, dies by the off-map combat group.
Yeah, definitely. It's a little bit spammy, you might say.
Well, it's also just a bit of a sign of a player who's perhaps not quite as prepared as you'd like to think.
Oh, Rangers down immediately. Both bazookas dropped.
Well...
Carry on, Ben. Carry on.
No, you just about to say.
I have got a tip for any American player watching this around this level, including myself, and I need to adhere to this. It's better not to spam off-map combat group in every situation. It's much better to instead focus on getting veterancy for 1 or 2 core squads. By all means, use 1 or 2 off-map combat groups, but there comes a point in every game where off-map combat group actually yields a little bit of efficiency, because it'll be vet 0 squads and they'll be not suited to the battle at the point.
Certainly that, but I think the problem is for Hay, be careful, it's his main strategy. I mean, he sort of basically just fought on with the tier 1, then when he reached off-map combat groups, that's it, his strategy pretty much halted. I mean, he's not building anything, he's not training anything, he's just, throwing more troops into the furnace, comrades, onwards for the Soviets.
For the Soviets, indeed, yeah. So, but what about Arny? Has he played the game well? Has he, combated his opponent's strategy or lack thereof quite nicely? Or?
Well, initially he did a bit poorly, the half-tech was certainly not a great move, but he's getting back now with the Grenadiers. I still think he should be taking up getting either a Sturmarmy or a Panzer Commander, then trying to push forwards, but he's handling himself well. And his sniper with 58 kills is definitely nothing to complain about.
Definitely not, definitely not. That's more of a campaign sniper.
That's the sort of sniper there's movies about.
Yes, like in, is it Inglourious Bastards with the pretend propaganda film with the sniper in the bell tower?
Stolste Nation. That's a great one. My favourite part about that movie.
Oh, Arnold's lolling.
Howards are firing away.
I see what he's lolling about. It's a ho ho ho.
And direct hits on the King Tiger because the shot bounced off right there, the first one. And the King Tiger could actually survive a direct artillery barrage of even the heaviest kind.
In real life or in the game? Or?
Yeah. In real life.
Oh, wow.
Though it might not be actually very comfortable inside.
I suppose not, no.
Grenadiers, though, rather caught off guard, a bit surrounded, a bit outmaneuvered. And the pack getting sorted out, assaulted by the bazooka riflemen.
Oh, the double bazookas. So the two bazookas lost for the Rangers. If they can get some rifle veterancy, they could be a Terminator squad.
Pretty much, unless the King Tiger gets them. And we're seeing a repair bunker going up for Arny.
Ah, that will be good. That'll save him a lot of micromanagement. Earlier we were obviously talking about micromanagement.
Indeed. Indeed, and certainly, I mean, a benefit of a repair bunker is, of course, not just, you know, it replaces any lost mechanics, but, again, you don't have to manage so much and lets you focus more on the battlefield.
Yeah, as a lot of people have said in the past, time is the fourth resource, and depriving your opponent of time is a great asset to you, and giving yourself more time, of course, is good to you.
Yes, but it's also another resource, that's attention. I mean, it's sort of the less talked about resource, attention, because you can only really pay attention to one place at a time.
Oh, indeed.
And I mean, that's also some of the more clever players, they use that. For example, with grenades or artillery, they don't go for the pit, you know, where there's focus on, at least they think there's focus on. They go on the more peripheral units, you know, grenade on the full scale taking a point, or artillery, you know, and this thus killing a unit. And again, the other player will only discard because it's too late, because again, he was, for example, paying attention to the big battle in the center.
Definitely, yeah. The idea of grenades I find quite attractive to myself, because it's a lot of psychological stuff between you and your opponents. You have to get a feel for them whilst playing them, and then use them to their best advantage. You have to kind of understand what your opponent's going to see and what he's going to miss.
Certainly. Certainly. There's even some mind games with the buildings where you're trying to sort of lob a grenade at the doorstep. And that only works if the opponent's actually paying attention and then tries to dodge it. Otherwise it fails, because he wasn't paying attention.
Hey, be careful seems to be questioning where his luck in this game.
Yes, but again, he's sort of claiming his other opponent is too lucky. I mean, again, it's a very passive-aggressive approach.
Yeah.
You're too lucky. You should be getting luck.
If he was helping hands, he'd be calling him a very lucky person.
Certainly, but he wouldn't actually be accusing the person directly. He'd just be complaining to the rest of the audience. That's the difference.
Exactly, true. Yeah, I suppose there's quite a bit of difference.
When you sort of go to the opponent, you're accusing him, you're sort of trying to apply some pressure, and again, you're sort of hoping he'll break for some reason. And it's just not very sportsmanlike. I mean, I don't mind complaining, but don't complain directly to your opponent.
I see it quite. Yeah, that is distinction worth making.
I mean, this is quite an engaging game, and of course you will get upset, but don't get upset at your opponent.
As I mentioned earlier, my chivalry is quite lacking. I try and play with friends as much as I can, because they forgive me.
3 30 calibers was up, one is down, the other's just taking huge casualties as one King Tiger is blasting through the house.
Oh my. He's lacking in squads now. He seems to be, the meat grinder of the Germans seems to be wearing him down quite heavily.
But again, that's also the thing with some players who rely on off-map combat groups. They have terrible unit preservation because, again, they think, I'll just get a new squad.
Yeah, and that's
again, you know, we have reserves, they do not. Sort of mentality.
Yeah, those reserves. Oh, hang on.
Both snipers are dead, even the, you know, hero of the Third Reich.
To artillery fire?
No, one was actually caught by the entrance to the German base. A few Americans were just looking at him and then shot him in the gut.
Oh no, I missed it. That's incredibly poor casting from myself there.
Medic, though, is picking up the sniper. The rifle moving in again to probably cut him down.
It's things like that the player can miss, that the person catching it on film can miss as well, because obviously he would have seen it.
There can always be so much going on in a game of Company of Heroes. You can't get it all. Ooh! King Tiger scored the kill, avenged the sniper.
King Tiger's got 13 infantry kills now, but it's more of a map dominance tool, is it not?
It's certainly something that, you know, again, puts some pressure on opponent mentally, because he always has to figure in the King Tiger and his plans. If I do this, what does the King Tiger then do?
Yeah, definitely. Has he recovered from the manpower drain caused by the Tiger yet?
He has, in fact. He is up to a more regular 260 manpower.
That's good, that's good.
Medic bunker, though, went down.
Howitz has 7 kills, one building kill now. One thing I wanted to mention earlier is the Western plus 16 munitions. Hasn't been prioritised by Arny enough, I don't think.
Probably not, probably not. I mean, some players do like to focus on the right-hand side and then ignore everything west, including that 16 munitions point.
I consider it to be the Wehrmacht's ace in the hole on Longre. I consider it the main reason from fixed positions Longre is considered a little bit Wehrmacht favoured, perhaps?
Perhaps. I mean, again, the South will definitely have the advantage in some ways, particularly with that 16 munitions, but I mean, everyone can benefit from plus 16 munitions.
Yeah, true. With wanting to use the M8's made its appearance on the battlefield, it's already going to have to make its exit.
Yeah. Too many Panzerschrecks, and we're seeing 2 more snipers on the way for the Germans. One is already on the field, another one being trained. And I mean, the silly thing is, if he, instead of, spending all those resources and snipers and just, going for something like, say, a Panzer Command, he might have won this already.
Oh, nice. Nice,
yeah, that's
Firestorm.
Very nice. Sets the barn on fire, knocks out the anti-tank gun, and leaves the 2 MGs standing about like trophies.
Yeah, that was utter destruction there. That was quite a tasty target for Arny.
Yeah, that's pretty much a good Firestorm target.
So you've seen battle fatigue strike for both players. We saw it at these hedgerows here that I'm pointing to on my screen for the 2 dead snipers, and he did not react to the Firestorm smoke at all there. He just simply tried to weather it. Again,
I mean, the way he's constantly accusing his opponent, he's probably being rather stressed. And when you get stressed and, a bit frustrated, you also begin to play much more poorly.
M8 down on the west there, the Panzerschreck for the Grenadiers.
And again, the whole, off-map combat group also sort of designates someone as, perhaps not being the most strongest in unit preservation. I mean, he takes a lot of risks, he's not very careful, and he ends up losing a lot of units because of it.
Yeah, maybe he's trying to give himself a memo with his own Smurf name there. Arny utilising sound to its best advantage. He reacted to the off-map on the territory rather quickly there. Good to see.
Indeed. Of course, there's always sometimes a trick, to figure out where the artillery is going in. If you're already taking several points, you have to figure, well, what's the most important thing from my opponent, and hope it's the right one.
Oh, God. It's capping multiple territory sectors against a Scorched Earth Panzer Elite player. It gives me nightmares.
Yeah, you do see a lot more Scorched Earth lately, but you also do see a bit more tank destroyer doctrine going up, which is actually quite nice.
Yeah, in answer to the aim strong strat, you use all your...
Yeah, you try to get heads, so the heads is actually quite nice.
Yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, you spend your fuel on infantry upgrades, so you can spend your manpower on tank upgrades. Well, Tetzers, rather.
Yeah, and the heads is quite alright against infantry and armour. Plus, it just looks cool.
Yeah, they do look cool, don't they? Nifty little pyramid tanks, I call them. They nip around,
Yeah, based on a Czechoslovakian tank.
Oh, wow, Czechoslovakian tank. They produced quite a lot there in Czechoslovakia, didn't they? They had all the... Is it the what car manufacturers from Czechoslovakia again?
They were Europe's second largest weapons producer.
Oh wow, okay.
Which rather meant that when the Germans got it, they had quite the armaments industry already ready to work for them.
Ah, that's it, Skoda. Yeah, I remember.
Skoda, yeah, and they actually built the tanks. Of course, the one funny little thing is the Czech designers actually tried to sabotage the Germans' design as subtly as possible.
Oh, wow.
So that when the Germans built them, the crews would suffer. In one case, I think it was in case of the head, so when the driver's slit was hit, where he basically had to look out, he would get blinded by it.
Ah, so it effectively buttoned down, as in this game it would be known anyway.
Sort of. MG, though, lost. Grenades pushing up there. Riflemen, veterans too for the Grenadiers, actually, now. Quite nice.
So much going on at once, it's impossible to capture.
And he just keeps pushing on. Just charging forwards completely recklessly.
Yeah, he's squandered many a Hellcat that way, throwing them into the enemy's base.
Yeah, and I'm not entirely sure what he actually intends to do with this. I mean, it just seems like a player at his wit's end. Just wasting units. Oh, hiccups.
Pardon you. But yes, the Hellcat's, just dying to Shrek fire. Hey, be careful is the least careful player I have seen in a very long time.
And he was trying to destroy the MG bunker on the right-hand side of the German base.
For what reason? Maybe for perhaps another incursion? He was rather successful with his double sniper kill earlier in the game.
Yes, but I think he needs to work on clearing up the centre or, perhaps pushing a bit more pressure on the left flank.
He can't ignore that King Tiger forever.
No, but he at least could try and perhaps isolate it, because a King Tiger isolated is a lot less powerful than one with support.
He's got 2 AT guns to recapture. 3 AT guns to recapture.
But the problem is the snipers just so quickly decrew them. So quickly. I mean, basically just one volley and, you know, anti-tank and decrewed.
How I'm going to dress this game up now is it's an expert training session for Arny, because he's against a wave attack machine who seems to... it's like Operation Stonewall. He just seems to, you know, come in waves and die.
Well, at least it isn't Common Heroes Online, where there was another ability called Attrition, which a lot of players basically fed into. You sort of got this, where you sort of call in an off-map armor group, attrition on, and then you got even more infantry back.
Holy.
And then you basically created this huge wave effect going on. Snowball effect, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So,
and when you could sort of figure that out, then, I mean, getting back to Common Heroes and off-map combat groups, piece of cake.
I suppose so, yes. So, I never played Company of Heroes Online. It seems to be a strange, mysterious, alternate universe to me.
It had its ups, it had a lot of downs. I mean, I won't say it didn't have any clever ideas at all, but, I mean, it also had a lot of bad ideas.
If there was one thing you could carry through from that to Company of Heroes 2, what would you take?
Probably the sort of the ability to sort of, you know, more choose your commander doctrine, so you have some effect on that, sort of more customize your force in that way.
Ah, yes, that is confirmed for Company of Heroes 2. That's well-known public
Yes,
information.
indeed, that's pretty much the only thing I'd really perhaps like to see. I mean, I wouldn't want to see the hero units, not the commander items.
Never die snipers. He killed 2 with a single rifle squad earlier in the game.
I mean, he's killed a lot of his snipers, but again, hey, be careful, he's not really in the mood where he acknowledges any blame on himself. He's upset. And again, it's sort of the passive-aggressive, you know. He's sort of blaming it, but he doesn't want to say, oh, he's just, you know, oh, you're just getting lucky.
I don't even think he's passive in his aggression. I think he's just being a bit petulant, you know. If he was being passive-aggressive, he'd be saying, yeah, good game.
Yeah, something like that, but I mean, he's definitely not being very nice about it, and again, he's pretty much saying, you're actually a shit player, and I mean, you're not good because you win over me. I mean, I have met players with that one. I still remember one who was, while I was streaming, telling me that I did not win the game, he lost it. He was very specific about that.
You should have told him, well, the winners write the history of war, not the losers.
Yeah, but still, that was, I mean, absolutely unbelievable. He was constantly complaining, Sniper getting hunted down by 2 Hellcats.
Yeah.
One is already gone.
Yep, indeed, we saw the Hellcat counter-snipe there.
And he's going to run straight into the 3 Grenadiers with Panzerschrecks. And Arnie's floating at 1,000 manpower.
Perhaps waiting for a Panzer battle. Oh, no.
I mean, he really could, you know, just tag up and get some Panzers. Really should just take up and get some Panzers.
I think the biggest lesson Arny can learn...
Oh, looks like a Hellcat just blew up.
It's one of the advanced Manhattan Project, you know, Hellcats again. Similar to the M8 from earlier.
Yeah. Oh well, he's actually still laying down mines. Hey, be careful over at the Western Victory Point entrance, oh, fuel point, I mean, entrance area to that compartment.
One thing as a paltry level 11 player that does watch a lot more streams than I play, I have noticed, this is one thing I think. In the late game as American, there is no need to focus on capping fuel. People seem to isolate that as something they need to focus on throughout the entirety of the game, and I think it's rubbish. He currently has, guess how much fuel the American has without clicking on it, Dane?
1,000?
Close to. He has 840. 50.
I mean, again, that's also, you know, going through all map combat groups, you only have to rely on manpower.
So there's no need for him to have captured that +10 and further, you know, put a mine down to keep it. Players seem to forget that. In the late game, it's about manpower, it's about VPs.
But it's also about population, and getting that point also grants him population and also denies his opponent fuel and population.
Indeed.
It's not just also about getting resources, it's about denying resources. And when you're playing Americans, it's mostly also just about denying fuel to your opponent. But Arnie's not really using it either. He's got 700 fuel.
Oh, wow. Has he had the veteran? Has he got spent it on veterancy? I mean, what veterancy does he have?
Veterancy 2 for his infantry, veterancy 2 for his support units. That's about it. He's relying mostly on grenadiers, a few packs, snipers, and a King Tiger. That's it. And I think another sniper just got crashed by Hellcat.
Oh my!
And that was John, which has just been trained.
Oh yes, I see the body. I see the body. Well caught there. Yeah.
Welcome to the beautiful new world, Splat. Clearly didn't work out for him.
Oh no! Yeah, it's like the fall.
And now a new wave rolls out from Hey, be careful.
Yes, wave number 30. Can Arny defend his position? Tower defense. I mean, here on War Room, it's not always about how good the game is, because if it's bad, it can be funny, and it's never to disrespect the players. If you're watching this for the first time and you think we're here to disrespect whoever it is playing, that's not the case at all, because you have to acknowledge that not everybody can be perfect, and you have to, strive
Actually,
to be the best
this is the case with me. I'm just here to disrespect. Disregard. Can't eliminate on that account now. I'm so again, it's also about for me, trying to provide some helpful advice and trying to sort of, analyze, not just what's happening on the battlefield, but also, mentally, because again, that's one of the larger gaps for low-level players. It's also the mental aspect of the game.
Oh yeah, so Arny is actually, I wouldn't class him as low level, by the way, just in case he's listening to this, which I know he will be because I'll be linking it as soon as it's uploaded. He's a level 16 American, but he can't break through as a Wehrmacht player. So as the game is surely wrapping up now, because I can't see what the American can do to counter the Wehrmacht position. What closing tips do you have for him?
For the Wehrmacht player?
Indeed.
Well, again, he should stop floating resources. I mean, with the start he sort of went alright, but I think he should go for the MG first, sniper after that. And I think he should be better at taking up. I mean, it's great he gets veterancy, though he was a bit late, but he should have gotten either a Sturmarmer or a Panzer Command much earlier, and he probably could have wrapped this up much easier. I mean...
definitely. Would you consider him getting tier 3 to complement his Terror Doctrine play?
Well, it's certainly not a bad thing, getting perhaps some armoured cars, a Stug, a few Nebelwerfers to help with the armoured cars.
Yeah, exactly. Nebelwerfers, they only cost manpower, not much either, and the effect they have over the duration of a game is quite extensive, isn't it?
Indeed, it is a great weapon, for example, to lock down an American assault by basically suppressing all the attackers.
Indeed. So he wouldn't have had to have spent so many munitions on single squad, propaganda wars, would he? He could have used that munitions for mines, used Nebelwerfers to suppress them. It would have been arguably a better strategy. Yeah,
you could have gotten MGs for his grenadiers. I mean, there are a lot of things you can do with that kind of munitions. Or you could have gotten Goliaths.
Goliaths, indeed. You don't see them very often.
No, you actually don't. I keep saying to myself, after I watch a great use of Goliath, I need to use Goliaths, and then I forget about it in the next match.
It's just that when you have a bad experience with them and they blow up, like, upon exiting the bunker, you tend not to use them, but they can have such a great effect sometimes.
Yeah, but it's also because they're expensive and they rather require you actually click on a bunker and build them.
Indeed.
But yes, they are otherwise really great units, really nasty things.
And we've had our closing moments. I've tried to wrap the game up. The American player still seems to be trying to stick in it whilst losing squads. He seems to be...
I'm getting someone from the previous episode, the Monday Novice Fight, complaining about why I casted his drunk game.
His drunk game? Maybe we'll get Hey, be careful. Maybe he'll find this from some corner of the internet and complain about it.
Yeah.
we have bad-mouthed him a lot, and I'm even thinking he's overstaying his welcome now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hellcat taking a few rockets as it tries to pull away. Grenades being exchanged.
I think it's off-mat combat group number 27 at this point.
It probably wouldn't be far off. He's gotten a ton of them.
Ton of them indeed. And as I made clear in this game, they're just ineffective at this point. What do you expect them to do with Vet Zero on everything?
I don't know. But I mean, he keeps complaining your snipers were too lucky. Too many miss attacks. Counter snipers. And I mean, he ignores the fact that he's been basically for half an hour off-map combat groups.
And that closing tirade was his exuant from the game. At 52 minutes after 1,000 off-map combat groups. It was an excellent opportunity to give Arny advice, so I feel.
Yes, I mean, for a larger part, I mean, once he sort of got over that rather initial hump there he had problems with, I mean, he handled himself quite nicely, held it on, and that King Tiger was definitely a huge part of it. And certainly, I mean, I won't fault his sniper usage. I mean, he got 58 kills on one, probably more. I mean, that's good.
That
The,
is
pro-
good.
the problem was a bit, again, a bit late in getting infantry up. And again, I think he should have tanked up. And again, not floated that many resources.
I think it's a case of, yes, you played well, but he shouldn't have left the door open for the American player in the first place.
Pretty much, pretty much.
Once that door was open, it was a sluice for for the sewer of off-map combo group shite, and it covered the map in, Vet Zero stuff, and he had to kill it all. It must have been very tiresome.
I mean, let's put it like this. I mean, I would very much like to check, hey, be careful if he doesn't have a Communist Party membership, because, I mean, that was really Soviet tactics. In earnest kind of the sense, just, onwards, comrades! Onwards! You shall kill the fascists!
But what are these dead bodies lying around?
Yeah.
Just pick the rifles up from them. Yes. But yeah. It was a game. And it was an excellent game in which to give somebody tips. And that's what War Room is all about. If you're watching this and you think we've been disrespectful to either player, we have been. And it's for comedy value. I am one to laugh at myself. I think some of the play I've played, I am terrible. I'm only a level 11. Dane, however, is level 16, so heed his advice. Listen to what he said during this episode and take it on board. Thank you for watching in general. You will find the email address in the description if you don't mind having your gameplay looked at and getting tips and having people watch what you do and have a look at what you do and criticize you. You have to be able to laugh at yourself and take on board criticism and hopefully offer it yourself. If you want to be a host, you can be a host. I accept any replay up from level 2 all the way up to level 16. It does not matter. I will find somebody within the community that can give you tips, and hopefully it'll be a good learning experience. Any closing statements, Dane, from you?
Not that I think so, just that I think Hey Be Careful needs to work a bit on his sportsmanship, a bit on his unit preservation, and stop relying so much on off-map combat groups. Arny, again, did well, but his start was a bit poor, and again, I think he should have checked up a bit faster. But otherwise, I mean, interesting game, had some fun moments. The Greyhound really was, the crowning moment of this game, where it basically just wiped out 2 full Scandinavia squads.
Yes, I'm looking at the crater now. That was good from Hey Be Careful. That spiced the game up. I did enjoy seeing the nuclear Greyhound. Thank you for... I heavily enjoyed that. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.
Cheers.